Good afternoon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. We want to welcome you to Lenoir Preserve, which is one of our 6 nature preserves in Westchester County. We're at a location here in the city of Yonkers, and we're here to announce a major capital investment in the building that's behind me, which is known as the Wightman Mansion, located on this site. We're very fortunate to have with us some of our top executives from the Parks, Recreation, and Conservation Department. We also have the Deputy Mayor of the City of Yonkers and County Legislator with us here, and we're going to hear from each of them, along with our Commissioner of Department of Public Works, to talk a little bit about the project that's here. But this is one more example of the commitment that we're making to fix those things that are broken across Westchester County. The assets that we inherited from past generations that were magnificent, but we have let fall into disrepair over years of neglect. We've talked about this recently at the Kingsland Park, Tarrytown Lighthouse. We've talked about this at Playland, and now we're here in front of the Wightman Mansion to show that we are committed to invest money that over the course of the next 20 years will bring this facility back to a level that will attract people, that will have a marketable use for this building, and it will be something that helps anchor this lovely nature preserve that sits really almost on the banks of the Hudson River. This mansion behind me is a 13,000 square foot property. It dates back to the mid-1800s with additional wings and expansions that were added in the early 1900s. This is a 40-acre preserve. It overlooks the Palisades and the Hudson River, as I've mentioned. This wouldn't be something I would know if it wasn't written down for me. This is a French neo-Renaissance design, granite quarried on the site. And beginning with the exterior of the building, our work will include restoration of windows, doors, roofs, gutters, and soffits. We'll be repointing the chimneys and the stone facade. There'll be upgrades to the HVAC system. And the first step to all of this is enveloping the property to protect it from the elements so that the work that is necessary can go on. And of course, we're here at Lenoir Preserve, where we have also set aside an area to remember those that we've lost because of the COVID pandemic that we've experienced. It's called Ribbons of Remembrance. We were here back in December as part of our dedication, and prior to that in the spring. For each of the individuals that have passed away, we provide a place for those who have lost a loved one to come, take a ribbon, remember that person, tie it to either a wooden tree or to the fixture that we have there. And so this park, which is an area perfect for contemplation, for enjoying nature's beauty that's been preserved by Westchester County, that this mansion is a part of that and will now get the attention that it deserves. We have a number of speakers that I'd like to share their thoughts about this. Each of them have been involved in some facet of making this happen. And so I'm going to begin first with our Commissioner of Westchester County Department of Parks, Recreation, and Conservation, Kathy O'Connor.
Thank you, County Executive Latimer. As George just mentioned, this is another wonderful example of everyone working together for the common cause. This is the County Executive's wonderful insight into fixing what's broken, working with the Board of Legislators, working with the Department of Parks, Recreation, Conservation, DPW&T, planning, and a whole lot of other people putting this all together. This fabulous facility behind me needs a real facelift at this point. So with the $5 million capital project that we're presenting today, it will get what we refer to as an enveloping. It's fixing the entire outside, including the roof. Obviously, if that's not fixed, it doesn't matter because the inside will get destroyed anyway. So we're very excited about this project to be coming forward. It's been a long time in the making, and we're really, really thrilled to see that it's happening. Just to mention that this facility, as the county executive already mentioned, is one of our 6 nature preserves. It's Lenoir Nature Center, which is a little bit behind, in front of us. And we have a wonderful curator there, Sarah Kavanaugh, who has really, really turned this place around. There's a waiting list for everything that we do, whether it's an educational program or a day camp. Sarah's been fabulous. She works directly under our Director of Conservation, Jason Klein, who is also here with us today, and they all answer to the First Deputy Peter Tartaglia. So working together, we are a team, but we really are so excited that the County Executive, George Latimer, sees the need to continue to fix what we have, not just build new, but fix the fabulous facilities that we already own, are trying to operate, but need major work. So thank you to George. Thank you to the Board of Legislators, as always, and all our co-commissioners that we work with on doing a project like this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathy, and thank you, Peter Tartaglia, our first Deputy Commissioner. They're responsible, along with Jason Klein, some of the other people that have been mentioned in the programmatic side, the operational side of this being part of a park. The person that we task with the challenge to look at the engineering side of doing things in our county is Hugh Grecian, who is by profession a professional engineer. He's worked in county government. He's also worked for outside engineering firm, so he brings a good experience to this, and he is a perfect person to lead the department that will have the supervisory responsibility over the work that has to be done. So next to speak, Hugh Grecian.
Yeah, thank you, George. Good afternoon, everyone. So the first thing we did almost 2.5 years ago is recognize that we had to do something immediately for this facility. In working with the Parks Department, we recognized that we couldn't wait for the normal capital process to move on, to go out to bid. So we immediately put $300,000 in this almost 2 years ago to the day, for all the temporary roof repair. The water was pouring through the roof, and it was freezing up in the winter. There was no heating system. We had no choice but to do something immediately. So we sealed up the roof, and we also did an asbestos abatement project, because it's an older building. It did have asbestos throughout the building. So at the same time, we did both, and then we went immediately through the capital process. We accelerated that process. That's generally a 5-year process. We accelerated it. We got the bids in last at end of May. They were for as Commissioner O'Connor mentioned, it's a $5 million project. They came in for $4.5 million. We're proceeding in a couple of weeks. We'll have a crew out here. You'll start to see them measuring up. Anywhere that we could keep the originals, because this is eligible for historic preservation, so anything that we could, the steel windows on the first floor, they're all going to be taken down and renovated. The wood windows on the second floor or wood, they weren't able to renovate those, so we're replacing them in kind with newer windows. And everything goes well, a year from now, beginning of August, this project will be complete.
Now, this facility resides in the city of Yonkers, and if you look around at the environment here, you might think that you were 200 miles north of us, someplace else in the state of New York. And if you could see the Hudson River, which you do see when there's little foliage here, you might imagine that you were somewhere else in the Hudson Valley, below or above Albany. But we sit in the largest jurisdiction of Westchester County. The city of Yonkers, in round numbers, 200,000 people. It's as urban a place as we have, and yet we still set aside a place for recreation and for contemplation. And I would say that the county's presence in Yonkers includes a number of other facilities, such as Tibbetts Brook Park, Sprain Lake Golf Course, Dunwoody Golf Course, the Sprain Ridge Pool Complex. But the city of Yonkers on its own has a very extensive system of parks, both recreational and those that can enjoy from a passive standpoint. We're very happy to have a great partnership with Mayor Mike Spano of the city of Yonkers, and his executive team and our executive team have worked closely together on a host of different projects. And so we're very happy to be here in the city of Yonkers. We have the deputy mayor with us, Tony Landy, who was a longtime top official in the county government. He and I worked together years ago, and I'm happy to be working with him again. And we're very happy, Tony, to have this facility improve right here in the city of Yonkers.
Thank you, County Executive George Latimer. On behalf of Mayor Mike Spano, I would like to welcome everyone here and welcome the County of Westchester, Parks Department, DPW, and the Board of Legislators for what you're doing. What you're doing is basically fixing up something that needs to be fair. It's located within the city of Yonkers, and we're happy that you're doing this. Even though it's a county facility, this will be a destination site for many people. And hopefully they can enjoy this, and they can enjoy Untermeyer Park, and enjoy themselves in this city of Yonkers. So I'd like to thank you again on behalf of Mayor Mike Spano.
Thank you very much. And this building is one that, if you're not from Yonkers and you haven't visited Lenoir, if you come off the Sawmill Parkway on Executive Boulevard, the exit for Executive Boulevard, say you're heading to the Hudson River Museum, which is a little south of us, or the Untermeyer Park, as you come over the crest of the hill down, this is the building that you see fronting on Broadway. And of course, you've seen it in its disrepair. And now, Tony, for all those who are in Yonkers or visit Yonkers, in due time, they're going to see a magnificent representation of one of the homes that was built here in Yonkers. Because keep in mind, all of these magnificent facilities along the river were built by people who had wealth and wanted to be in Yonkers, wanted to have an estate in Yonkers. That's what this was, and the other ones up and down the line. And as we return to that, to the extent that we can, we're reintroducing people to what Yonkers has been and can be again. I'd like to now ask County Legislator Ruth Walter to share some of her thoughts. Ruth represents a portion of Yonkers, including North Yonkers, as well as a major section of East Yonkers. She also has a district that goes into Bronxville. And she is one of 4 legislators, Chris Johnson, Jose Alvarado, and David Tubiolo, who represent Yonkers. And that is almost a quarter of the Board of Legislators. So you know, when the Yonkers legislators want something, they tend to get it. And they tend to get it as well because, as they have with the other legislators, Ruth is an effective advocate for her district. She is a tireless advocate for her district. She was burning my ear on Sunday about the things that she needs for her district. And of course, this being one of them, Ruth, we're happy to help you. The Board of Legislators voted for the allocation of money, so we are partners in this effort going forward. Ruth Walter, County Legislator.
Thank you, County Executive. I'm so glad to be here today with such an amazing team that is the county, the city, and we are so happy at the Board of Legislators to vote for great projects like Lenoir Preserve. And I often say that we in Westchester are the beneficiaries of decades of investment in public wealth. And this is one of those places where anybody can come here, you can park for free, you can walk through the beautiful grounds here, you can walk past the mansion that's under construction. And we did come here last year, Nancy Barr, a legislator, as well as Chris Johnson. And as we were walking past the construction that Commissioner Grecian had mentioned, somebody said, you know, what's happening and what's going on and when is it going to be opened? So when this came before the Board of Legislators, we were very happy to vote for it unanimously. We want these things to be preserved. It's parks, parks, conservation, and recreation. And the conservation part is really important. It takes dollars, it takes expertise, and it takes commitment to continue to bring these examples of public wealth to the public. So I'm thrilled to be here. I've been here many times with my family now that I know that it's here. It's a respite, it's quiet, it's beautiful. You see many, many animals and birds, lots of butterflies in the butterfly garden, and it's truly a joy to be here, and I'm so happy to see this get the investment and the attention it deserves. Thank you.
Thank you. Just want to check in if any members of the press who either may be here in person or remote have any questions for us on this. I'll give a couple closing remarks. Again, thanks to all of those who made this happen. What you see behind you is a combination of individuals, as we have also with us here, who together represent a team of people that accomplishes a mission. I do want to share one anecdote. It does not reflect on this particular property, but I think it's critical to understand what it is when we try to reestablish these different facilities. I grew up in Mount Vernon, and I live in the city of Rye. But before I lived in the city of Rye, this is in the late 1970s, I was on a date with a young lady, and we took a walk through one of our other parks, other nature preserves, Marshlands Conservancy. I was not involved in government at the time. It was just a lovely park to take a walk through on a fall afternoon. And as we walked down to the marshlands and we walked back up, we saw the back of a deteriorating historic homestead, which we know as the Jay property, the Jay estate. Now, there's a John Jay facility that's been beautifully renovated in Katona. This was a building on the site that John Jay was born in, the Peter Jay building itself. And in all of my youthful misunderstanding of what I was looking at, I saw the back of a deteriorating building, and I said, "What building is that?" And the girl's local, and she said, "Well, that's Jay's house." And with all of the wisdom that I had at age 25, I said, somebody ought to do something about that. It's falling down. Well, little did I know that the years would come by and my life would turn into a career in public office, and that I would at some point be a legislator and have some role to play in that. So now all those years go by, and I look at this building the way I looked at that house when I was a 25-year-old, just on a date. And I realized that the somebody that has to do something about it is us. It's us. We have to cherish the things that were put here by our grandparents and our great-grandparents and not let them lay fallow and not let them collapse into a heap of rubble. We have to appreciate the past. We have to restore the past, and then we have to make it accessible to the people not only of the present, but the people of the future, the children and the grandchildren that follow us. And folks may say, well, you're going to spend money, we're going to invest money. That will have a multiple year benefit to people in this county. We still have cut taxes the last 2 years. We intend to cut it for a third year, all factors being equal. But we can still restore the past properly and appropriately. I turn to the engineers and to the parks professionals, to the outside consultants to tell us how we're going to do this. But the will to do it is our will. It's our decision to do these things. It's the work of the executive branch and the Board of Legislators. We're joined by Christopher Johnson, member of the Board of Legislators. We'll have him say a few words to close out. But I want people to understand, whether you live in Yonkers or you don't live in Yonkers, this is not about one particular building in one place. This is symbolic of neglect that has occurred for decades in this county, where valuable assets have been ignored, from the lighthouse to playland to a host of other things that we're trying to do. And we intend to honor our grandparents' legacy. We intend to honor our great-grandparents' legacy. We will bring this building and the others back to life. They will have a new productive use in the years to come, and people will remember why Westchester was the first county to have the first limited access highway, the Bronx River Parkway. Why Westchester was the first county to have the first planned amusement park, Playland. And that we won't, as this particular generation, just consume the wealth of these things, but we will take some of our wealth and invest it so that we have it for years to come. Now I'm going to let close Legislator Chris Johnson. He has a young person in his family who will grow up in this county, and hopefully when that child grows up, they'll see a beautiful facility to come and visit. Legislator Chris Johnson.
So it's never too late to get an opportunity to speak at the mic when our great county executive, George Latimer, gives you an opportunity. But it's also never too late to find an amazing piece of property that we've had and actually invest into it and actually put the money that is necessary to make sure that it is the investment that it was intended to be actually happens. So when I got elected, there's a group of individuals, homeowners right to the north of us, and all they talked to me about was this property. Lenoir, what are we going to do? How are we going to make sure that this property can be all that it can be? And so I made sure, talking with the county executive and my colleagues at the board, that we put money in to make sure that we not only envelope this building, but to make sure that it didn't deteriorate more, but to make sure that we fix it and bring it back to life and make sure that it is what it can be. And so I look forward to, as we move forward, as the county executive mentioned, I do have a little one. So we've already been out here. I took a walk with a couple of my colleagues, and he wasn't walking yet, so he was perched right here. But as we move forward and as he grows, he's going to grow with this property. As this property grows and changes, he's going to grow and change. As this comes to life and becomes all that it can be, he's going to grow and become all that he can be. And so I'm glad that we look at the assets of this county as part of our family, as part of who we are, and that we invest in them to make sure that as we grow as a county, all of these properties grow, all of these amazing investments have what they need to make sure that Westchester, that those in Westchester can live and enjoy all the things that we have to offer. So thank you, County Executive, for making this a priority. I thank you, Ruth, one of my colleagues on the board who represents right across the street. And so because of the investment that we've all done together, we'll soon be able to go inside and enjoy Lenoir Preserve once again. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Have a good afternoon. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.